Of the many colorful characters in Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, Long John Silver's is definitely up there. He leaves the question of whether he is truly a villain or if he is simply a product of his environment. At the beginning of the story, everybody loved him. On page 523, Dr. Livesey tells the squire, "Well, squire, I don't put much faith in your discoveries as a general thing, but I will say this, John Silver suits me." Further proof of how likable Silver's character was is that Jim trusts him, even though he knew that he should have been on the lookout for a pirate with only one leg, and even though Silver only had one leg, Jim still trusted him. His fellow pirates put all their faith in him. What he told them to do, they would do. They had to act correctly during the whole voyage over there, and everybody acted how they were supposed to act because they trusted Silver so much. Because of this likable character, it's difficult to label him as just a villain. Really, it's because he had a manipulative personality. He knows what people like to hear and need to hear in order to trust him. He's a very smart man. On page 527, Stevenson writes, "He had a way of talking to each and doing everybody some particular service. He knew that the pirates needed to see somebody who carried themselves with confidence. He knew that the doctor needed somebody who knew their place. He knew that Jim needed a fatherly figure. He took all of this into account and manipulated his personality accordingly with everybody. While he may have indeed liked Jim at times, his main prerogative with Jim was to be able to use him. Jim found this out by himself by learning that the same things that Silver was telling Jim, he was telling to other people." On page 530, he says, "You may imagine how I felt when I heard this abominable old rogue addressing another in the very same words of flattery as he had used to myself." Eventually, that spell was also broken for his fellow pirates. While they respected and obeyed him, it was only while it was beneficial to them. When things got difficult and the treasure was unsure, they attempted to overthrow him. They gave him the black dot. At the end, however, it is easy to determine that he was indeed a villain. Only 5 of the men that originally went on the expedition returned. The rest of the lives lost, Silver is in some way responsible for them, since it was his mutiny. His ending to the story is running off with only a sack of coins. Is this a fitting punishment? Should he have been jailed for everything that he did? Should he have had to respond for the lives that got lost? Perhaps. However, the ending of the story seems fitting. You kind of want him to be able to get away. And that's because he's the type of villain that you love to hate. While Jim may be the main protagonist in this story, we still liked Silver. He's still a likable character, and we still don't want for him to end up dead or locked up. And this way, he doesn't end up with all of his treasure, but he still has his life with a little bit of money, and we're